Greetings and welcome to this video provided by WheelHouse Solutions called Getting Ready for a New Phone System. My name is Marty Francois and I'll be taking you through this brief informational video. So you have either recently purchased a new premise-based phone system or you're getting ready to. Either way, we're pleased to share with you some things that you can do to get ready prior to implementing your project and getting it kicked off. So on our first slide here, again, let me congratulate you on your purchase or getting ready to purchase of a new premise-based phone system. And some of the things we want to do is to help you prepare so you can go ahead and take advantage of the opportunity to clean up or reorganize your extension numbering or even your names on your existing phone systems or your departments or your locations. And this is a great time to maybe do that, as we're going to be building a database to understand how your current phone system is designed and also how we can build that into a new phone system. So, if you choose not to make any changes to your existing numbering, no worries. If you prefer to keep your extensions and your names exactly the same, no problem. There are plenty of other features and functionality that you can still take advantage of with this new technology. So this is also a great time to maybe clean up and label your internal wiring in your data closets and at each drop. Implementing a phone system is much easier when it's clear where and how each phone is connected back to the data closet. So this is always a great opportunity to maybe do that ahead of us coming in to help you with your installation. You may be implementing newer voice circuits and new technology. For instance, you might be going from POTS lines to SIP technology or things like that. So we want to be able to help you to be creative in how these are implemented. Hopefully, throughout the process leading up to this point, you understand a little bit about how some of these technologies work. But we just want to take every opportunity to help you take advantage of some of those new features and functionalities. So as part of getting ready for a new phone system, we'll need you to be prepared to share information about your current data network. For instance, your current network IP scheme and subnet mask, your default gateway, any existing VLANs you may have. Hopefully you'll have some of that information and we can kind of build upon that as we move forward. For DHCP purposes, we'll need to know what device will be providing DHCP to the new handsets. In some cases, it could be the new phone server itself, or maybe you have a local firewall or router or AD server. So it may make sense to discuss some of these items with our engineer on a call that we'll be scheduling soon after we kick off your project. But any ideas or information you have leading up to that call will be helpful. So some other things that we would like to discuss and have prepared is, do you have a local IT department or is it outsourced? Also, does your IT team have full rights and knowledge of your existing switches and firewall and all those components? It'll definitely help if they're prepared to make any changes that might be needed to a firewall or something like that. So any information you can have ahead of time will be helpful in that. Also, regarding your wiring, does your building already have Cat5 or Cat6 cabling to each location where you're going to want a phone? So is there existing, or are you going to be putting new cable drops where each phone is going to be? And are those drops going to be dedicated to the phones or shared by a PC? And so that will make a little bit difference in how we help you implement your VLANs or things like that. So it's always good to know that. Also, are there any areas where unmanaged switches might be installed? If so, it's going to be really important for you to go in and understand that those unmanaged switches, you will not be able to have phones on the other side of small unmanaged switches. So you'll want to look at replacing those or getting new cables ran to where those phones might be, so that they don't end up behind one of those switches. In this case, you might need a cable back to the server room or something like that. So just having some of that information and understanding some of that will be helpful. So some considerations for your voice network. Will you be implementing a voice network, or will you be keeping everything on the data network? And if you do, what subnet and VLAN will you be assigning to the voice network? If you decide to implement a new voice network, what subnet and VLAN will you be assigning to that voice network? And then what IP address can we allocate from this network to the phone server? And so we'll need to know the default gateway, what it's going to be. If you have any firewall or router or other equipment, we'll need to know what you have and what you're planning to implement. Also, if a voice VLAN already exists, what will the transition from the old phone server to the new phone server look like? So we typically recommend a voice VLAN, especially if you're installing more than 20 handsets, somewhere around that number, because it helps to segregate the voice traffic from your data traffic, and it allows for easier troubleshooting if you're having issues down the road, trying to figure out why something's going on. If you have a voice VLAN, it's definitely helpful. It also helps give you greater control over quality of service, or what you'll hear a lot of times is QoS. And so if you already have a voice VLAN, if you have a voice VLAN that already exists, and the new phones will be replacing an existing IP phone system, one of the things we'll have to consider is we might have to do a hot cut, meaning we either need to schedule an after-hours install, or there might be some downtime if we choose to do that during the day. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to be repurposing a voice VLAN. Okay, so we'll also be needing to look for information about your current phone system. Do you have a spreadsheet listing of existing extensions for each department or location? So that's obviously helpful to know if you can start reviewing that and looking at that spreadsheet and maybe cleaning it up, as we mentioned earlier, maybe reorganizing your extensions. Again, if you want to leave extensions exactly the same, it's perfectly fine, but now might be a good time to go ahead and clean that up if you want to organize it by a department, or maybe you have multiple locations and you want to take advantage of some of that. Maybe your old phone system couldn't handle a larger range of extensions, and these new phone systems can handle larger range or more digits, 4-digit extensions instead of 3-digit, or things like that. You have all these options that are now available to you. So another thing hopefully you can have coming in is knowing all your outside phone numbers and whether they are associated with departments and locations, and all that information is helpful to have. Also be sure to include if you have any fax numbers or alarm lines. And it doesn't matter whether they're running through the phone system or not, we still want to know about it for several reasons. One, it helps us direct if you might need to involve your alarm company or other vendors as part of any changes we make to this phone system. Again, if they're not connected to your current phone system, it might be a moot point, but this also allows you the opportunity to just document all of the numbers for your phone system. So to have it all in one place at one time, and we'll be talking more about this database that we're going to be developing, and that's where all this information is going to go into a database so that we can design your new system. So that database kind of becomes a nice view of your entire phone system. So those phone numbers, even if they don't have anything to do with your phone system, just having those phone numbers in there sometimes can be helpful. So. All right, another thing that newer phone systems do a phenomenal job at is auto attendance. And so do you already use auto attendance? If so, we'll need to know what your current scripts are for each department or each building or each location, what each auto attendant is currently being used for, anything that you're currently saying in those scripts, and then also write those out so that it gives you an opportunity to present those scripts to your departments and say, is this what you wanted to say, or did your old phone system just always say that, so we always left it alone? Now's an opportunity to maybe document those, and we'll need those documented so that we can get them in there. Also, if you have pre-recorded auto attendant files, you might want to look at getting those handy so that you can just provide those to us and we can help convert those into the new phone system. Also, do you currently use any overhead paging devices or door phones or other equipment, other peripheral equipment that is connected to the phone system? We'll need those identified and accessible, and so that's going to be very important during the new phone system. Now, if you're using an overhead system that is not in any way tied to your current phone system and it's not going to be tied to the new phone system, then of course we may not need to know about those, but it's at least good to just bring them up and talk about them. Another thing that newer phone systems allow you to take advantage of is some call queuing or automatic call distribution, ACD, as you might have heard it referred to. So if you're already doing that, think through what extensions those currently ring to, or what agents or what current users those calls are going to, because we'll need to document that in our system so we can help to take the new phone system and make it as user-friendly as possible, but also, again, take advantage of newer features and functionality. All right. We'll also want to work with you to take advantage of new features and functionalities that may not have been part of older phone systems. For instance, mobile applications, maybe remote phones that are not on your LAN or your WAN or your network. Also, remote access to the phone system. There you see a star next to those. Those all mean we'll have to work with your firewall vendor, and they'll have to know how to allow those ports to be opened up on your firewall. So you also might need a static public IP from your ISP, from your current data or voice provider in order to make those options work. We also have voicemail to email, and you see there are 2 stars, so we'll need some information about your current SMTP settings, and possibly a new email account might need to be created for us to use to send emails through your email system, and that way those don't get blocked or anything like that. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope this has been helpful, and we look forward to working with you on your new phone system.